It's almost dark. We are the only people, or I'm the only car in the parking lot of this hiking trail. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. If you don't know, my name's Brittany and I film videos based around the paranormal and mythological beings. So if that's something that you think might interest you, quickly go ahead and click that subscribe button. So I actually wanted to try doing something a little bit different on my channel. I feel like I've had a lot of different crazy experiences, paranormal and non-paranormal. So I'm going to continue doing my paranormal life story time, but I thought I might add an actual story time section for you guys. That way, one, you can get to know me a little bit better, and it's just this other section where I can share with you guys what's going on and just some of the crazy things that I've experienced and, some of the awesome things I've also experienced. So I'm actually going to share with you guys how Jeff and I met. Butter, please don't knock this over. Right now, Butter is right behind the camera, and I'm really hoping he doesn't knock it over. Yeah, that's the key. So as you guys know, Jeff is my fiance and also Sebastian's father. Now, we've been together for a little over 3 years now, and he is my longest relationship. So I actually want to get into the story about, the day that we met. Now, Jeff and I met on Bumble, which if you guys don't know what Bumble is, it is a dating app where the girl actually has to reach out to the guy first. So essentially it's where it's like all the other dating apps, you get paired up, and then you swipe left or right. And then if both of you swipe right, maybe? It's been a while. If both of you swipe right, then it's a match. So essentially we matched. So I reached out to him and it was pretty quick into the conversation because I never really used the app and I didn't have notifications on for it or anything. I didn't really think anything was going to come from the app. The reason I downloaded Bumble was because it seemed like the best way to cipher out people who just wanted to hook up, because I didn't want that. I wanted an actual relationship because I wanted a future with that person. That's why I didn't go to apps like Tinder. So I went and I was like, hey, what, I don't remember if I gave him my phone number or if I asked for his, because I was like, I don't really use the app, so that way we can continue talking. And it went really well. He actually seemed like he wanted to talk to me, which is, a really good first step. And, he wasn't giving those one-word answers. I remember there was one guy that I messaged and he was like, give me your best pickup line. I was like, yeah, I don't do that. And then I just didn't talk to him again. But Jeff was really into what I thought, and we really clicked right off the bat, even though it was just through texting. And then we also ended up Snapchatting too. So I could actually see his face. I could see in real time that it was him. I know that sometimes, which I didn't really think of at the time, but I know sometimes catfish will have their friend Snapchat people or their family member or something, and it's not really them Snapchatting that person, which I think is so disturbing. But I didn't really think of that. I was like, oh, well, it's a lot harder to fake. Yeah. It's it's a lot harder to fake a Snapchat. So oh, it's definitely him. I know I was right. It was him. But I had brought up, we were just talking because we both love the outdoors, and I brought up Roman's Nose, which is in Middleburg. Now, he had never been there, so we were talking about going there together. And then that was going to actually be the first time that we met. So then we had a date set. And he canceled on me. So then I was like, okay, if he reaches out to me and reschedules, then I'll go. But I'm not going to make that effort. So he did. We were still talking a lot and stuff. He texted me every morning. And a lot of times we would just like, one of us would fall asleep and then just pick it up in the morning. And so it was like these never-ending conversations, basically. And like, he didn't take hours to reply to me. Like, he seemed really interested in talking to me, and I was really interested in talking to him. So I really wanted to meet him. Now, we finally get a date, like, to go to Roman's Nose, to go hiking. And I was like, oh, well, we'll meet at the diner first. We're going to meet at the diner first. And then, so he was picking up jets, or selling jet skis. I think he's selling the jet skis. I could be wrong. He could have been picking them up. But I think he was selling them. And he had a friend with him. And he was like an hour away. But obviously he's not going to bring his friend on our date. So he kept pushing back the time. He pushed it back a pretty exceptional amount, but I really wanted to meet him. Like, I liked him, so I really wanted to meet him. So I was like, oh, it's fine. So we decided to just meet at Roman's Nose. So yes, when we get there, I get there first, and it's almost dark. We are the only people, like, or I'm the only car in the parking lot of this hiking trail. And then he pulls in, and it's like this, what I deemed to be like this scary truck, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, okay, I'm going to wait in the truck, or not truck, I'm going to wait in the car and see if it's actually him that gets out of the truck. So it is, it's actually him, so that makes me comfortable enough to get out of the car, and we get to the top of the mountain, and we're talking a lot, and we're like, actually clicking. And I'm really happy and relieved that it's him. Like, I told my best friend that I was going up there and meeting him. And she actually called me in the middle of this date to make sure I was alive. And I looked right at him after she called because I answered the call. And I was like, yeah, that was my friend. She just wanted to make sure you didn't kill me. So I very openly said it. And so then now it's dark. So we start heading back down the mountain. We're almost to the parking lot. And I slipped and fell directly on my knee. I still have a scar from it. Which, I don't know, it's a lot smaller now, so I don't even know if I can, like, take a picture to show you guys, but it's a lot smaller now. So, you know, first I'm meeting this boy, like, I don't want to say how hurt I am, so, oh my gosh. So, he laughed, like, he laughed at me falling, which, if I was in his shoes, I probably would I probably would too. But so he laughed, and I'm trying to play it off like, oh yeah, that didn't hurt. And then I stood up, and he couldn't see my facial reaction because it was so dark, but I was like, oh my gosh, this hurts so much. It was so painful, and I made it back to the car trying to walk normal. He didn't hug me or anything. Like, he's like, we'll have to hang out again, and obviously we did. But so I got back in the car. I drove home. At that time I was living with my parents, and I got back in the house. I didn't turn on the light till I got into the bathroom, and my one pant leg was covered in blood. Like, no lie, covered in blood. I had to peel it off of my skin, and it hurt so bad. My knee was literally busted. So now it's around like midnight, and I was working at McDonald's. So I had to get up and go to work. I had to work at 5. No, 4. 4? I open. Maybe it was 4. Sorry, it's been a while. I think it was 4. So I woke up at 3. So I got 3 hours of sleep. I got back up. I stood off of my bed and I was in so much pain. Now, as an opening manager in a big McDonald's, you have to pull all the buns. You have to fill the tea urns. You have to move the tea urns. You have to fill all the machines with ice. So it's a lot of like decently heavy things. And I was doing this, putting all of my support on one leg. Now, I was also helping out at my old McDonald's because I got transferred. So I was also helping out my old McDonald's and I was supposed to close there. So I opened at the one that I got transferred to and I was supposed to close at the one that I was helping out. Like, everything went wrong that day. We ran out of hotcakes. We ran out of Egg McMuffin wrappers. People didn't show up. It was just like, I think cream exploded. It was awful. And I have this busted knee that I can't walk on and it's throbbing. And it was literally like swollen. It was bad. And I was trying to get people to come in for me and nobody would come in for me. And I was like, I can barely walk. Now, that was kind of the start of my not really wanting to work at McDonald's anymore because I put everything into that company. I still think that it is an amazing company, but I definitely preferred the first one I worked at to the second one. And I think a lot of times the people make the job. But anyways, that's all a story for another time. But I couldn't get anyone to come in for me. And then I still went to the other McDonald's. So then I drove like 40 minutes or so to get to the other McDonald's. The manager there was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? She was trying to get people to come in for me. Nobody would come in for me. So she offered to stay. And I was like, I'm not having you work all day. Even though I was working all day. But I was like, I'm not having you do that. I'll be fine. If anything, I'll just lean a little bit more. I'll work front counter so it's not as much running around. And like, I was having customers come up to me like, oh my gosh, are you okay? So I made it through the night. I didn't actually go to work the next day because of my knee being swollen and not being able to walk. My mom actually had to bring me to urgent care. Actually helped me in and out of the car the next day because I couldn't put pressure on it. They're like, they told me straight out, like, you should not have been on this. So that they actually took me out of work for 3 days, which I didn't stay out of work those full 3 days. So every once in a while my knee acts up. I remember telling Jeff that I hurt my knee really badly and he felt so bad. To this day, he still feels bad for laughing. But again, if it was reversed, that would have probably have been my reaction. He did ask if I was okay. And he did help me out. So that's the most important part. Yeah, and then we went on more dates and we hung out a lot. And then he asked me out. Asked me to officially be his girlfriend. Now obviously it worked out because now we're engaged and we have a baby. And honestly, you guys, I know it's really sappy and stuff, but I can't imagine being with anybody else. Like, he is absolutely amazing. And him and Sebastian are my entire world. Like, I have no idea what I would do without them. So, I would not suggest going and meeting a total stranger at night on a hiking trail, but it did work out for me, thank goodness. And I could have definitely been smarter about it because we both had iPhones. So it could have been like, hey, do you want to FaceTime? So at least I like completely knew like, hey, this is you. I don't know why I didn't do that. But again, it worked out. Like I said, I don't condone you going and just meeting a complete stranger. But just be safe and be smart about it. There's definitely things I could have done better. But I met who I believe is my soulmate, and yeah, Dada. Dada. So I just wanted to share with you guys the story of how Jeff and I met, because it's such a crazy one, and I feel like it's decently unique. But yeah, I figured this was kind of, don't worry, I'm still going to do all the paranormal stuff, all the mythological stuff. I'm still going to share my personal paranormal experiences with you guys. And definitely that's the main focus of this channel. But I just thought that this would kind of give me a way to connect with you guys a little bit more. So if you guys like this, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me, you guys. And I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time.